Images like this are disturbing and disruptive to nature and wildlife, but it may not be long until we see less and less. Thanks to the New York Sea Grant, a nationwide program created by Congress in 1966, a new statewide curriculum may ensure that plastic pollution could soon become a thing of the past.
So plastic pollution is one of the most common types of litter, trash, and pollution that we see here in the Great Lakes and in the St. Lawrence region. So once it gets in the water, it's called marine debris. So that's any type of trash that ends up in our water, and that's our drinking water. Those are local ecosystems with native species. But marine debris can be all types of things, from large boats that are abandoned to fishing nets, to aluminum cans and glass bottles. But plastic pollution are all those items that are made of plastic. So that can be water bottles, it could be plastic shopping bags, it could be laundry baskets, anything made of plastic. One thing that we are studying a lot and a lot of people are concerned about are the microplastics. So those are tiny pieces of plastic less than 5 millimeters in size. And that's what we're working on with teachers, looking at those different types of plastic pollution and how it impacts our Great Lakes.
Fred Kiwanis is one of the first teachers in New York State to implement the new curriculum with his students. And he knows the curriculum well because he is an editor and contributor to the New York State Sea Grant Plastics Pollution Program and an environmental and Regents Earth Science teacher at Central Square.
Finding examples of plastic pollution both locally and going to some of the beaches on the East Coast. It's a topic that I wanted my students to be aware of, and Nate Dragg and his crew do a fantastic job. So if I can contribute and help in any way, I'm all for it.
Working with Fred and the other teachers on this curriculum has been invaluable. From the design of the activities to their feedback to them implementing in their classroom, it's evolved into a much better role than I could have designed it by myself or with my co-author Kathleen. So we have a lot of great ideas, but they're in the classrooms every day working with their students. They get the perspective on what activities really stick with kids, what engages them. And they also help us with recommending how long the lessons could be, what learning standards they align with, and then what's fun, because we want learning to be fun.
In the natural world, of course, plastics are made from petrochemicals, which are toxic. And for our local fish populations, they may see these colorful little things floating in the water and think of them as food sources. So we're starting to see now fish and some birds that are dying because they consume these little fragments of plastic. The scientific name for these pieces of microplastic, they're called nurdles, which reminds me of the little candies, but they're the same kinds of size. They're like the size of a grain of rice. But walking down the beach, you may not even notice them, but no one ever cleans up those fragments of plastic. So they accumulate, ironically, in the exact area where rare birds are nesting, and we're trying our best to protect our local species.
Kiwanis and his students don't just learn in the classroom. They head out into the field. On one trip, they took sand samples from a state park, a private beach, and Black Pond Wildlife Management Area to study how much plastic pollutes the sands. The Wildlife Management Area was surprisingly the most polluted sample. It's these kinds of experiences that are encouraged when teachers visit Dragg's classes to learn more about implementing the curriculum.
So the Great Lakes Ecosystem Education Exchange is a joint program between the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and New York Sea Grant. So GLEE, which is G-L-E-E-E, 3 E's, we focus on teacher workshops and professional development opportunities where we bring teachers in, we show them new curriculum, we help design new curriculum with them.
New York State teachers like Kiwanis are implementing the Plastic Pollution and You curriculum and have found it to be an extremely valuable tool.
It's important, in my opinion, for a 14-year-old to see that, this is really valuable. You are lucky to have these resources here. Other people in our country don't have these. This is really the type of program that all area schools are going to be looking for.
Educators can request a copy as well as view a recent virtual preview of the curriculum at nycgrant.org/glee. For WPBS Weekly, I'm Eric Cleary.